Okay, I'm going to show you the simple steps to create this beautiful hand knitted blanket. You can see the side has a braided edge and I've got fringe on the end, and it measures about 48 by 66 inches. So I'm going to remove this and I'm going to show you exactly how to make it. I am using chenille yarn. It's extra chunky yarn. And the first thing we want to do is to create a slip knot. So you just cross your two pieces over and pull your yarn up to make a slip knot. It's very simple. You can always Google if you need to figure out how to make a slip knot, but you just saw it's very simple. You want your loop on the end to be about enough to get 3 fingers through the hole. Now we're going to make a chain stitch. For the blanket, you want to make 28 stitches and have an extra loop on the end, so a total of 29 loops. I am going to do it much shorter for this demo, but I'm going to show you. You just put your fingers through. Make sure this isn't, okay, put your fingers through, grab the yarn, pull it through with another loop, then do the same thing. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, it's important that you make these loops kind of the same size. You can see and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So for sampling purposes, I'm just going to make it 10. So I've got my 10 stitches, and now I'm going to leave this last loop on the end alone, and I'm going to start my way back. You always come from underneath. So now we're going to go right to left. So I want to go to the next open hole here, and I want to pull up and create a loop, just like that. And then find the next one, do the same thing. Now, it's important that you keep your loops the same size. So just find your hole and pull the loop up. That's 5. Now, when I get to the end, I'm going to create a loop and I'm going to leave it on the end, just like we did on the other side. And we're going to come back into our loop now from underneath and create a new loop the same size. And then the next one. Now this is just one way to do this, and I find this to be the easiest way, and you can literally make this blanket in just a couple of hours if you stick to it. It takes a total of 8 skeins and 7 for the blanket and then 1 for the fringe. Okay, so now I'm back at this other end here, and now I'm going to go into my end loop, pull a new loop through and leave it, and then come back and go through my open loops again. And this is honestly the whole process. You just go back and forth until you have completed 7 skeins. Now, you're gonna ask, well, how do you connect one to another? So when I get to the end here, I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so now I'm at the end, right? And now I have this open loop from the end, and I'm gonna pull a new one through, and I'm going to leave it alone. So you can see how that's starting to create this chain pattern that will go up the side. Okay, if you have 2 ends that you are connecting, I'm gonna undo this. Oh, I can't find my end. Okay, where are you at? Here it is. Okay, let's just pretend we're gonna connect these two. So you're simply going to tie it in a knot. And then you want your two tails out, and then you want to pull tight. Do this like 3 or 4 times until the knot is nice and snug. And then you're going to take your good sharp scissors. You're going to cut off these tails. You can trim up some of the excess that's on the yarn. Just like that. And nobody will ever know that that knot is there, and you continue on. So you're going to continue that process until you've got 7 skeins of yarn on your blanket, which will make your blanket approximately 48 by 66. Okay, now when you're almost finished your 7th skein and you need to tie off now, I'm going to show you how to do that. So you take the end loop and you take the first loop and you pull the yarn through. Now you're going to take this loop with the next loop and you're going to pull the yarn through. Again, pull through the 2 loops, grab your second loop, pull it through. Now, you can see what that's doing. It's creating this nice braided edge along the top. So we're gonna grab that second loop and pull it through. Grab the second loop, pull it through. Grab the second loop, pull it through. Now, we're gonna grab the second loop, pull it through. Okay. So here is where I would then cut this off, pull it through this end, pull it tight, and then I would simply just weave this in to my blanket, in and out. And maybe I would even tie a knot around here. This yarn is very forgiving and you will not see the end, and then you just cut this off. You will not see those little ends. Okay, so let's pretend this is, I know it's a little cattywampus because it's so small. But let's pretend that this is, but you can see again what your top edge is gonna look like and your side edges are gonna look braided. So now we're gonna add the fringe. So I cut pieces that are about 12 inches long. And I simply take that piece, I fold it in half, I put the fringe on the short ends of my blanket, and I look for that hole again. So I take the loop end of my yarn through, I put the 2 loose ends through, and then I pull just like that. And I will continue that process all the way across, and then I will come back and I will trim my edges to make sure that my yarn is totally straight and even. And so you can see, I'm going to show you again with the blanket how the finished product looks. So you can see my nice edge on the side there, and you can see how I've got my fringe going on the bottom edge here. So that is how I do the fringe. Now you don't have to do the fringe, it's just something maybe a little bit extra, but I kind of like the look of it when it's hanging on the couch. So that's basically how you make a hand knitted blanket. How long was that?